Hello and welcome. Today we're going to tackle something super practical, how to order food in English. I promise, by the end of this, you'll be walking into any restaurant feeling totally prepared and confident. So let's get right into it.
First things first, have you ever had that little moment of panic when the server walks up to your table, pen and pad in hand? If you have, trust me, you are not alone. It's a super common feeling. But don't you worry, we're about to turn that anxiety into pure confidence. So we're going to break this whole thing down into 4 really simple steps. First, arriving and getting a table. Then, the big one, actually placing your order. After that, what to do during the meal itself. And we'll wrap it all up with paying the bill. Think of it as a complete roadmap to a stress-free meal.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1, arriving and getting seated. This is all about starting off on the right foot and making a great first impression. It's easier than you think.
Okay, before we even walk in the door, let's get a key piece of vocabulary down. The best word to use for the person who helps you is server. Now, you'll still hear people say waiter or waitress, but server is modern, polite, and it works for absolutely everyone. It's the one to use.
So when you get to a restaurant, you're usually in one of 2 situations. Either you've got a reservation, meaning you called ahead or booked online, or you're what's called a walk-in. If you have a reservation, you just need to tell them your name. If you're a walk-in, you just tell them how many people are in your group. Simple. If you've booked ahead, this phrase is your golden ticket. It's perfectly polite, perfectly clear. Hello, we have a reservation. My name is, and then just give the name you booked it under. Easy as that.
And what if you're a walk-in? No problem at all. It's just as easy. You just say hello and tell them how many people need a table. You can say a table for 2, a table for 4, whatever you need. And, adding that little please at the end is always a nice touch. And now let's get to part 2, which is really the main event, placing your order. This is where we'll learn those key phrases that'll get you exactly what you're craving. First, let's quickly decode the menu. You'll usually see a section for an appetizer or starter. That's the small dish you get before the main meal. And then you have the main course or main dish, which, you guessed it, is the big main part of your meal. Knowing this helps you find your way around any menu.
Okay, here it is. This is your brand new ordering toolbox. These 4 phrases are going to be your best friends. They're all polite, they're all super common, and honestly, you can use any of them. You don't need to memorize a million different things. Just get comfortable with these.
So let's see the first one in action. I would like to order. It's a great, slightly more formal way to say what you want. But you'll probably hear the shorter version more often, which is just, I'd like to order.
Next up is a real classic. I will have, or even more common, the contraction, I'll have. This one sounds really confident and natural. I'll have the teen burger. Boom. Done. Simple and effective.
Now, for a slightly softer touch, you can phrase it as a question, like, could I have? This is really common and comes across as super polite. It's a fantastic option, especially if you want to sound extra friendly. But hang on, what happens when the server comes over and you're just not ready? Or maybe everything looks so amazing you just can't decide? Don't worry, there are super simple phrases for that exact situation. You can just say, I need a little more time, please. No problem at all. Or you can ask for some help. Asking, what is today special, is a great way to find out about a unique dish. And my personal favorite, what do you recommend? Servers often have the best suggestions.
And you know what's so great about this ordering toolbox? It's not just for fancy sit-down restaurants. These exact same phrases are perfect for when you're going through a drive-thru.
I mean, look at this. This is a perfect example. You can just string your items together using I'll have or I will have. It's totally natural, it's clear, and it works whether you're at a nice restaurant table or sitting in your car.
All right, on to part 3. You've placed your order like a pro, the food has arrived, but what if you realize you need something? Let's talk about how to ask for things during the meal. The magic trick here is to first get your server's attention with a polite, excuse me. Then you can use those phrases we already know, like, can I get or could I have? It works for anything. Another fork, an extra napkin, more water, some ketchup, you name it.
And here we are at our final step, part 4, paying the bill. You've had a wonderful meal, and now it's just time to settle up. Now, this is a really important little detail that changes depending on where you are in the world. In places like the UK, Canada, and Australia, you'll ask for the bill. But in the United States, they call it the check.
They both mean the exact same thing, but using the local term will make you sound like a natural.
When it's time to pay, you can just say, I'd like to pay by card, or just have your cash ready. And this is a big one. Let's talk about tipping. In countries like Canada and the United States, leaving a tip for your server is a very common cultural practice. The standard is usually around 15%, and maybe 20% if the service was just fantastic.
So let's do a super quick review. You now know how to show up with or without a reservation. You've got that powerful toolbox of ordering phrases like I'll have and could I get ready to go. You know how to politely ask for anything you need during the meal, and you know how to correctly ask for the bill or the check when it's all over.
You seriously have all the tools you need to walk into that restaurant and order with complete confidence. So the only question left is, what's the first thing you're going to order with your new skills?